The old school team wins. The end. I said that because a lot of you guys who, especially if you're a subscriber, you know I'm an old school guy. I would probably be rooting for the old school team to win the matchup, but like that doesn't mean I'm not objective. Or would they like win definitively? Like, would I be certain that they're gonna win against the new school team? No. But I do think, yes, that inevitably the old school team would win that 3-on-3, 221 by ones and twos, change of possession kind of game. To me, it really comes down to the new schools, their team being athletic, their agility, just being more mobile and athletic than the old school team, and the old school team being better scorers, and against the kind of cunning and grit and just sheer will and determination of the old school team. There's no question that if we were talking about old school NBA versus current school NBA, the current school is more skilled, more talented than the old 80s NBA. There will be comments made, arguments made. Are you kidding me? You're crazy. These kids today, they have no skill. The 80s, they had much more skill than the kids today. Okay, if that's the way you look at it, it's fine. Not saying you're wrong, not saying I'm right, but the way it appears to me is that the kids today in the NBA, they're the most talented players in history. They're the most skilled players in history because they were farmed and vetted through the AAU system. I know that's getting off topic of this 3-on-3 matchup, but like that's the way I see it. Now, when we get to this matchup particularly, like Magic, Larry, and Michael Jordan are some of the most intelligent, talented, skilled basketball players that have ever lived. It doesn't matter what era, what school you compare them to. They're just some of the most intelligent players that have ever played the game. But it just in terms of like being able to be athletic enough to score the ball quickly, the new school team, to me, definitely has an advantage in that realm. So the way I would envision this game going would be, like, if we were playing to, like, 11s by 2 and 3, I think the new school team would win pretty quickly, just because they're able to score really quickly, because that's what the current day NBA is and does. It's putting up a lot of scores really quickly. And if that was the kind of matchup with the kind of rules, then the new school team would probably win that matchup relatively easily. But because I structured it to be a longer game, 21 by ones and twos, the way I think the game would go would be like, okay, the new school team gets off to a pretty quick start. They would probably get to the point where the game would be like 10 to like 4 or 5, something like that. So the new school team would be off to a relatively fast start. Now, the longer the game goes on and the more the old school team would have to adjust to the way the new school players play, I think that's how and why the tide would start to turn. Because the old school players would start to wear down the new school players, at least psychologically, if not just flat out physically, throwing elbows and that kind of stuff. Not like they're playing dirty or cheating or anything like that. If you're the old school players and the new school the team is just like faster and more athletic and trying to run the score up real quick. If you're the old school team, you got to slow things down. Well, you slow things down by running your mouth, yapping, talking trash, and then being psychological against them, and then like holding them, getting physical with them, and making them slow down from a physical standpoint. I guess I didn't really ever address the foul situation either. I think in terms of fouling, it'd be pretty standard. It'd be like, if you get fouled, you shoot free throws, you shoot one free throw if you're in a shooting motion. Otherwise, you get fouled and the play stops and you just take the ball out to the top and the possession starts over again. But I don't think like that matchup would turn into a free throw shooting.